Hey everyone, how's it going today? Mark Lozano here, Christ Center Capital. If you have no idea what Christ Center Capital is, you can go check it out on the website, christcentercapital.com. We are a moral analysis website, right? What we do is we curate a bunch of information from a bunch of different financial institutions and outlets and analysts and influencers. And whenever we find an asset, whether that be a crypto, a stock, an ETF, or an alternative that has a consensus on it, where a bunch of people are recommending it or talking about it, we take that asset, we put it in our weekly report or our monthly report, and we apply moral analysis to it. So, you know, some stock is getting recommended or talked about enough to where it pops up on our radar. We then put it on our website and we apply moral analysis as to what politicians is it funding, or is it engaged in human trafficking or child labor or pornography or abortion or critical race theory or transgender legislation or any of the above, right? So if you're interested in stuff like and information like that, go check out christcentercapital.com. A subscription is only $7 a month, and 50% of our net profits are donated to amazing Christian charities every single month. So please go check out christcentercapital.com. We'd appreciate it. My team would appreciate it, and the charities would certainly appreciate it as well. Now, what I want to talk about today is fear. And in this crazy, crazy market right now, with everything going on in Russia, Ukraine, our prayers get sent out to the people of Ukraine, and the crazy inflation rates, everyone's seeing the gas prices, inflation at 40-year high, and all of this stuff causes a lot of fear. And something in our research that popped up on my radar recently was the average investor, the kind of Joe Schmo investor, the everyday person, they predict the tops of the market, meaning like the highs of the market, more often than not, but not in a good way. Typically, the average investor loses money when compared to institutional investors. And the main reason for it is fear. Because the average investor is late to the game and hears all the buzz talking about a particular stock or investment or whatever it is, and they buy at the highest price point. And then the second they lose any kind of money, they get out. So it's all, you can see how that results in a lot of loss over the course of the long term and even the short term. No matter what the hype is, no matter what's going on in the world around you, historically, it's always going to be best to dollar cost average, meaning, invest a little bit every month or every 2 months or whatever your time frame is, dollar cost average into a diverse portfolio that is filled with quality assets. It's not really, the trick is figuring out what are quality assets. But regardless of what are the quality assets, it's never a good thing to buy a stock or to buy an ETF or to get into some kind of alternative asset just because your cousin or next door neighbor or whoever heard it, right? That's not a good idea. What you want to do is, of course, do your due diligence, but buy and hold for the long term. Buy high quality assets, hold for the long term, and don't get scared when the doom and gloom of media gets in front of you and starts telling you that, we're all going to enter a recession and we're going to be in breadlines and, the world's going to end and Putin's going to blow up the world through his nuclear weapons and all this kind of stuff, right? Now, we all should be monitoring the news. We should all be cautious of what's going on or aware of what's going on. But when it comes to investing, there is no better method than diversifying into a portfolio of high quality assets and holding for the long term. And no one can predict the market. If someone's telling you this is going to drop next month or that's going to go up next week or whatever it is, there's two explanations for that. One, they're doing some kind of insider trading, which is illegal. And two, they're talking out of their backside. And sometimes they get it right, but you know, there's luck. People sometimes call it out, and sometimes people get lucky and everything. But the reality of the situation is, in all my time in finance and in corporate finance and everything, I've so many times I've had someone talk to me who is like a financial planner or whatever, or who works for some kind of big financial firm, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my wife just, said, hey, check out this thing called Netflix. It looks really cool. I bet you it's going to do really, really well." And sure enough, like that's the thing that pops off and grows thousands of percent, right? Is all the research and everything, and the algorithms and whatnot that try to go into monitoring investments are good, but they're not a crystal ball. They're not perfect. All these computer models, they're not perfect. They're not without flaw, because a lot of the market is driven through computer algorithms, and a lot of the market is driven through public sentiment. And those two things are in conflict a lot. So I'm saying all this yeah, I know there's a lot of reason to be fearful right now with the war between Ukraine and Russia, with the Fed rate hikes possibly coming up. Who knows how high they're going to be? I think I'm making this video the day before they come out. And the inflation and at 40-year highs, and these gas prices are outrageous, and so are the prices of, general commodities. And even you have like China right now. If I'm dating this video a lot, of course this whole video is dated, but China right now is experiencing major COVID spikes, and they're locking down. China, as of the time of this recording of this video, which is Tuesday, March 15th at 2 o'clock, Shenzhen, which is the Silicon Valley of China, has been pretty much completely shut down, which is going to hurt Apple and a whole lot of other like tech companies. So there is a lot to be fearful of. But when it comes to investing, stick to the golden rules. Diverse portfolio, built up of quality assets. Don't go all in at once. Don't go all out at once. Dollar cost average in. And don't listen to your neighbor or your best buddy, right? Like, sometimes they may be onto something, and other times they could be completely wrong. More often than not, they're going to be completely wrong. Or maybe your neighbor's Warren Buffett, then in that case, probably listen to him. But just don't be so fearful. Because if you're part of this channel, you're part of my subscriber base at Christ Center Capital, if you're part of the C3 family, I mean, we're looking towards the other side of eternity, not just the things that we can accumulate in this world, or the wealth we can accumulate in this world, because really we're only accumulating wealth so we can disperse it. Once we give grace, once we receive grace, we want to give it out and spread it out, right? So don't be so fearful. Again, I'm repeating myself for like the 10th time probably this video. Golden rules: diverse portfolio, dollar cost average in. Don't be too quick to sell, don't be too quick to buy, and over the long term, you're always going to be better off for it. Right? And again, in my opinion, I'm not, a whole disclaimer, not financial planner, not financial advisor. I'm just someone who does moral analysis. My team is just a team that does moral analysis of investment assets. But those are our opinions, and they've served us well over time. So I hope they can serve you well as well. But thanks for listening. Again, go check out ChristCenterCapital.com. We'd really appreciate it. You can see the charities we're supporting. And hey, even if you're not a Christian investor, someone who maybe you're just an investor who doesn't hold to those faith-driven values or those religious values, we curate a bunch of information, and we're not just telling people the stocks that are doing really, really well, or the stocks that are doing really well in our moral analysis, but we're also talking about the stocks that are being recommended throughout the market that are not passing our moral analysis. So maybe you're just looking for what the market's talking about, and you're looking for some quality market news. Go check out ChristCenterCapital.com. We'd appreciate it. With that said, God bless. Thanks for listening.